I slammed my laptop shut, heart pounding so fast I thought it might explode. No, no, this can't be happening, I muttered under my breath, pacing back and forth. My fingers were still trembling, cold sweat dripping down my neck. I just finished the audit, the one I had told myself was routine, and then I saw it. The numbers didn't add up. They didn't just fail, they were designed to fail. For people like me and Chidera. Min-Jae, what's wrong? Chidera's voice broke through the apartment's silence. She looked worried, leaning on the counter, hands gripping the edge. Her eyes darted to the laptop, then to me. I don't know how to say this. I swallowed hard. My chest was tight, my lungs refusing to expand fully. It's the system. Your status, it's deferred. Deferred. What do you mean, deferred? That can't be right, she shouted, her voice trembling. You were supposed to. Never mind. She turned away, hands covering her face. I clenched my fists, trying to keep my composure, but inside I was spiraling. It's complicated, Chidera. The system, it's supposed to be neutral, but it's not. I don't even know what to do. She turned back to me, her eyes blazing now, but with something more than anger, fear, disappointment, hurt. So, what now? You just tell me this like it's a minor inconvenience? I shook my head, trying to speak, but all I could manage was, I thought, I thought it would work. I tried. I really tried. Her silence after that was worse than any argument. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared at me, then quietly went to her folder labeled alternatives. I felt my stomach twist. My hands were shaking. My head was spinning. I wanted to scream, to smash the laptop, to make the world stop, but nothing could fix what I'd already seen. I was supposed to just check data. Routine audits, nothing more. But something caught my eye, just a subtle anomaly at first. But the deeper I dug, the more impossible it became to ignore. Rows of numbers, clean, perfect, but under the surface, a filter designed to keep certain people from even existing in the system's calculations. I leaned closer to the screen, feeling a cold sweat break across my brow. This can't be right, I whispered. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely click. No, no, it's doing this on purpose. It's excluding people like us. And just like that, the notification popped up. Independent audit suspended immediately. I felt my stomach drop. Everything was gone. Control, leverage, hope. Chidera broke the silence. So we're screwed then? Is that it? Her voice was calm but trembling, like she was trying to hold herself together. I shook my head furiously. No, no, I won't let it be like that. I have to do something. I can't just sit here and let it happen. Her hands were trembling now too, resting on the folder. And if you do, if you try, and it fails, I swallowed, then at least I'll know I tried. At least I won't be complicit. She stared at me for a long moment, then sighed. I I hope you know what you're doing, Min-Jae, because I can't. I can't just wait for the system to decide for us anymore. The tension between us was unbearable, thick in the air. My chest was tight, heart hammering, sweat soaking my shirt. I had never felt so powerless and so responsible all at once. The next day, I sat at my desk under harsh fluorescent lights, hands shaking as I opened the terminal again. I couldn't stop thinking about the previous night. I had to see it one more time. I had to understand it. The data lines blinked at me like some malevolent language. Something about it felt alive. It wasn't just exclusion, it was curation, belonging, generational density, cultural alignment. I muttered to myself, almost laughing despite the terror. So I'm being measured for how long I was allowed to exist. The realization hit like a physical punch. My fingers clenched, my heart raced, my breath came in shallow bursts. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call Chidera and tell her it wasn't real, but what it was. Oh God, it was real. Then came the quiet, that terrible, suffocating quiet when the office lights hummed and everything else disappeared except the terrible knowledge I now held. I pressed my hands to my chest, cold sweat, tight lungs. I wanted to cry, but instead I whispered to myself, I can't, I can't just leave this alone. I walked into Jihai's office trying to calm my hands that were still shaking. I don't know how to explain all this. It's bigger than me. I can't just expose it, but I can't do nothing either. GA leaned back in her chair, calm as ever. You're not wrong, Min-Jae. I I believe you. But this has to be done carefully. One wrong move and everything collapses. I stared at her, chest tight. Carefully? You mean slowly watching people like Chidera get destroyed while we plan? She didn't answer directly. Her eyes said it all. I can't protect you from everything. I swallowed. My hands were shaking, my jaw tight. Then what do we do? She finally said, we survive for now, and we wait, but we watch. I nodded, but inside my mind was racing. Waiting felt like losing. Watching felt like betrayal. And surviving, I wasn't sure I could do it without losing myself. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. My chest was tight, my mind racing faster than my body could keep up. I kept replaying Jihai's words over and over. One wrong move and everything collapses. I paced the apartment, glancing at Chidera. She was sitting silently at the counter, staring at her hands. I wanted to go to her, to hug her, to make it all okay, but my hands were trembling too much. I I can't just let this go, I muttered. I can't. Not after seeing what they're doing. Chidera looked up, eyes wet but determined. Then do it. But Min-Jae, you have to think about what happens after. What if it destroys you too? I swallowed hard. I know, but I can't pretend it's nothing. I can't just, my voice faltered, my throat was dry. I can't just be safe and watch everyone else suffer. She reached across and grabbed my hand. I know, she whispered. Just be careful, please. The next morning, I went back to the ministry. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. I had to see it again. I had to understand the patterns. As I scrolled through the data, my hands were shaking, my chest tight, and cold sweat forming at my neck. Every line of code, every algorithmic filter made my stomach drop. I muttered to myself, almost laughing through the panic. So this is how they decide how long people like us get to exist. I tapped keys, checking, double checking, rerunning the audit. And then I saw it. A new detail I hadn't noticed before. A small, almost invisible tweak in the continuity filter. It was subtle, but it amplified exclusion without anyone noticing. I whispered, voice cracking, oh no, 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 this isn't just a filter. This is systemic, calculated, permanent. My fists clenched. I felt like my lungs were too small, my heart hammering. The office felt colder, and I could almost hear the hum of the fluorescent lights as if they were mocking me. Later that afternoon, I met Jihai in a small side room. She folded her hands, calm as ever, but I could see the tension in her eyes. I found something new, I said, voice tight. It's worse than I thought. The filters, they're not just biased, they're predictive. They decide who belongs before anyone even knows it. Jihai's eyes softened, but there was a shadow in them. I know. I've suspected for months. That's why we have to be strategic, Min-Jae. One wrong step, and they'll erase everything. Your credibility, our data, everyone affected. I slammed my fist on the table, startling her. Strategic? That's not enough. People are already losing. Chidera. Everyone like her. My voice cracked. I just can't wait. She leaned forward. And if you act now, it could make it worse. You know that, right? I swallowed, chest tight. Then we act smart, but fast. Please, we can't wait any longer. Her lips pressed together, silent for a long, agonizing beat. Then she whispered, I trust you, but be careful, please. That night, Chidera confronted me. Her folder was open, alternatives laid out, options I didn't want to think about. You promised me safety, she shouted. You promised me you'd handle it. I flinched. I thought I could. I really thought I could, but it's bigger than either of us. Her voice trembled, lips quivering. So what now, Min-Jae? Are we just waiting to be destroyed? Are we just going to sit here while the system decides if people like me get a life? I swallowed, heart hammering. No, no, we fight, but I don't know the right way yet. She looked away, jaw tight, tears threatening. Then maybe it's already too late. I wanted to reach for her, to tell her it wasn't too late, but my hands shook so badly I had to grip the table. It's not too late. I won't let it be. I got the call to the ministry. Floor-to-ceiling windows, cold daylight, everything gleamed, untouched, untouchable. Songwook poured tea with calm precision. You think it's unfair, he said softly, eyes locked on mine. But it's not personal. It's survival. That's how nations last. I clenched my fists under the table, my jaw tight. Survival? At what cost? People like us? You just leave us to it? He smiled faintly, calm and unshaken. I'm offering you a chance to shape it, make it better from inside, or you can burn it all down. I felt my chest tighten, my heart racing. And if I refuse, you'll make it worse for everyone. He nodded slowly, almost like he expected me to say that. Exactly, that's the choice. I swallowed. My hands trembled. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. I wanted to throw the tea at him and walk out. But I couldn't. I had to think, and my mind was spinning. Walking back to the apartment, I muttered to myself, I can't stay inside. I can't trust him. I can't wait. But if I act, everything could collapse. Chidera saw me pacing. You're shaking, Min-Jae. What is it this time? I have to do something, I whispered. I don't know what, I don't know how, but I can't just do nothing. Her eyes softened, tears threatening. Then do what you think is right, but don't destroy yourself in the process. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. It's already destroying me. I don't even know if I'm still me after this. I slammed the door behind me so hard it rattled the frame. My chest felt like it was being crushed, heart pounding like a drum. Chidera was staring at me, wide-eyed, hands trembling. I, I can't. I just can't sit here anymore, I shouted, my voice cracked. Everything is falling apart, Chidera. Do you even understand what they're doing? She flinched. She flinched. Calm down. You're shaking. What is it now? I found a way to hit the system, to expose it. But it's risky. Everything could go, I don't know, insane. I dropped into a chair, face in my hands, cold sweat trickling down my temple. She stepped closer, her voice soft but sharp. And if it fails, Min-Jae, if it fails, people will pay the price, including us. I looked up, desperate. I don't care anymore. I can't care. I have to try. I met Jahai in the ethics office, sunlight spilling through the blinds, shadows cutting across her face. I've got a plan, but I need your support, I said, voice tight, chest trembling. We can disrupt the filter before it excludes more people. She hesitated, hands fidgeting. Min-Jae, I can't do that. If we move too fast, everything we've been working for. You're abandoning me? My voice cracked. After everything we've been through? She flinched, eyes wide. I'm not abandoning you. I'm protecting you. Protecting everyone. I laughed bitterly. Protecting? You mean protecting yourself. You're too scared to act, Jihei, too scared to risk the system collapsing. Her lips pressed tight, jaw trembling. Maybe, maybe you don't understand. Maybe I know more than you think. My chest tightened. My hands shook. I didn't know if I wanted to hug her or punch her. I trusted you. I thought we were in this together. Her gaze dropped. Silence filled the room, the kind of silence that screams louder than any argument. Later that night, Chidera confronted me. Shadows from the streetlights stretched across the apartment. I don't know if I can do this anymore, she shouted, voice cracking. Every day the system decides my life, my future, and you keep risking it all. I sank into a chair, head in my hands. I know. I hate that I'm putting you through this, but I can't just let it happen. I can't. Her hands trembled as she gripped the folder of alternatives. Maybe it's already too late. Maybe you've already made it worse. I looked up, heart hammering. No, I can't believe that. I have to fix it. I have to. Tears streamed down her face. And if you fail, if it all comes crashing down, I swallowed hard. Then at least I tried. At least I didn't do nothing. I got the call to the ministry again. The office was massive, cold, sunlight cutting harsh lines across the polished floors. Songwook sat behind his desk, perfectly composed. You think you can fix it? He asked, calm but deadly. You think you can change what's already been calculated? Do you understand what happens if you fail? I clenched my fists under the table. I have to try. I can't just let it happen. He leaned forward, eyes sharp. Try or destroy. There's no middle. One move, wrong or right, it will change everything, including you. I swallowed, heart hammering. And if I refuse, you'll watch everyone you care about suffer, and you'll blame yourself anyway. My chest felt like it was splitting. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. I wanted to throw everything across the room. But I knew, deep down, I couldn't. Walking back to the apartment, I muttered to myself, I can't stay silent. I can't trust him. But if I act, what if it destroys me? Chidera saw me pacing. You're shaking. Min-Jae, what's happening now? I have to do something, I whispered, voice breaking. I can't sit here waiting for them to decide our lives. Her voice soft but desperate. Then do what you think is right, but don't destroy yourself in the process. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. It's already destroying me. I don't even know who I am anymore, but I can't stop. Her hands gripped mine. Then promise me you'll try to come back. Promise me, Min-Jae? I nodded, chest heaving. I promise I'll try. I stared at my laptop, the cursor blinking on the command line. Sweat dripped down my temple, fingers shaking, heart racing. I took a deep breath. I'm doing it. I don't know if it will work, but I have to try. Chidera's voice trembled behind me. Then whatever happens, Min-Jae, just come back to me. I pressed enter. I stared at the terminal, the screen glowing red, alarms blaring softly in the background. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, trembling so badly I could barely press the keys. Heart pounding, chest tight, sweat rolling down my face. This was it. This was the moment I had been dreading and craving at the same time. I can't believe I'm really doing this, I whispered to myself. If this fails, everything, everyone, it'll all collapse. Chidera's voice trembled behind me. Min-Jae, whatever happens, please, just come back to me. I swallowed hard. I could barely nod. I'll try, I promise, I'll try. And then I pressed enter. The system stuttered. Lines of code flickered across the screen. Servers buzzed, fans whirred louder, red lights flashing, clinics locking doors, phones ringing unanswered, news tickers scrambling. My chest heaved. My hands shook uncontrollably. Every nerve in my body screamed. This is it, I muttered, voice cracking. I hope I did the right thing. At the apartment, Chidera sank to the floor, tears streaming down her face. Shadows from the streetlights stretched across the walls. You, you did it, Min-Jae. But why did it have to be like this? She sobbed. I stood frozen in the doorway, chest heaving, heart pounding violently. I, I, I had no choice. I thought I did. I thought I was doing the right thing. Her hands trembled as she reached for mine. We survived somehow, but everything, it's all gone. I swallowed hard, fighting the lump in my throat. Gone, yes, but maybe now people can decide for themselves. Maybe now it's not predetermined. She clutched me, voice small. Promise me, Min-Jae, promise me we'll survive this together. I nodded, finally letting myself breathe. I promise. The city outside was chaotic. Emergency lights flashed, sirens blaring, but the system had stopped calculating futures with cold precision. Lives paused, hung in balance, waiting to be reclaimed. I leaned against the wall, head in my hands, cold sweat still rolling, chest tight. I I don't even know who I am anymore, if this makes me a hero or a fool. Chidera crouched beside me, hands on my shoulders. Does it matter? You acted when it counted. That's enough for now. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. Enough? I feel like I've lost everything, but maybe I've gained something too. Freedom in some way, a chance to decide, not the system. Her eyes glimmered. And we'll do it together, step by step. The ministry called again. Songwook's voice was calm, almost detached. You did it, he said. I expected you to hesitate, but you didn't. Congratulations, Min-Jae. I swallowed hard. Did I do the right thing? Or did I just ruin everything? He chuckled softly. That depends on your perspective. The system is broken now, and everyone gets to fight for themselves. Chaos, freedom, it's messy, but it's real. My chest tightened. So we survived? Survived, he said, voice low, but at a cost you'll carry forever. I exhaled, long and broken. The weight of every choice I'd made, every risk, every heartbreak, it pressed on me, and yet strangely I felt alive. More alive than I ever had. Chidera and I walked through the city streets, red warning lights fading behind us. People looked around, confused, relieved, terrified, alive. The system was gone. For now, we were free. I held Chidera's hand tightly, heart still hammering, but steadier now. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know if we're heroes or fools. She smiled faintly, leaning against me. Does it matter? We chose. And choosing, that's what counts. I nodded, taking a deep breath. Choosing, yeah, that's what counts. The future was never guaranteed, but now it's ours to fight for. Step by step, choice by choice, we survive.